اعوذ بالله من الشیطان الرجیم بسم الله الرحمن الرحیم الصلاة و السلام علی سیدنا و نبینا محمد و آله الطیبین الطاهرین بسم الله الرحمن الرحیم الحمد لله الذی هدانا لهذا و ما كنا لنهتدی لولا ان هدانا الله اللهم انا نسأل الیک فی دولة کریمه تعز بها الاسلام و اهله وتذل بها النفاق وأهله وتجعلنا فيها من الدعاة إلى طاعتك والغادة إلى سبيلك وترزقنا بها كرامة الدنيا والآخرة اللهم ما عرفتنا من الحق فهملناه وما قصرنا عنه فبلغناه. Today is 24th of July, our session number 27 on commentary on Dua Nutbeh. But although we were talking about Dua Nutbeh, but I think it's very appropriate if I give one session. Even I was thinking to give the next 4 sessions of Sha'ban to some tafsir of Ziyarat Munajat Sha'baniyah, which is very much the Munajat of this month. But first I would congratulate all of us for Hulul of Mah Sha'ban, the month of Sha'ban, which is very good month for in continuation of Rajab and going towards the party and ziyafat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Ramadan. You all know about this month and importance of it, and if you want to know more detail, go and read Khutbah Sha'baniyah of the Prophet sallallahu, which was narrated, was said at the beginning of this month of Sha'ban. This is a month which there are quite a few important amal. Of course, as usual, fasting has got a lot of rewards in this month, and it makes us more prepared for receiving the month of Ramadan and qualifying us in attending the party of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This party of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala needs a pure and clean heart and needs a lot of preparation beforehand. You all have started from Rajab and you continue in this beloved month. If you read in Mafatih, it says this month is the best amal, including fasting, is istighfar. It's so important that Imam Sadiq alayhi salam has narrated to have said that even if a person has killed someone, has murdered someone, if he repents to Allah in months of Sha'ban and fast, he has a lot of hope to be forgiven, and he will benefit from it. And the other thing in this month is istighfar, which is the backbone of all zikr. Any zikr we want to do, nothing would probably, when I say nothing, this is not a very precise statement, but is among one of the best zikr that anyone can say anytime, not only Sha'ban. But Sha'ban is particular about istighfar, as well as salawat, which as much as we can, both istighfar and salawat as much as we can. Somebody says, I can't remember the source exactly, says, but it is a hadith, that he was with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They go somewhere and somebody comes with a problem that he has been having a child, and the Prophet teaches him to do istighfar. Then they move on and the next person the same day comes to the Prophet, and he complains about the very less and low rizq and sustenance. Prophet prescribes him to do istighfar. And another person comes after that, and the same day complains about a sickness he has, Prophet sallallahu prescribes him istighfar. And there is one or two more, and then that man asked the Prophet, "Oh, the Prophet of Allah, why if these people are asking for different things, you tell them to do istighfar?" And the Prophet says how important is istighfar, and how a lot of problems that we have is due to the sins that we do. So istighfar is a remedy for the sins. And of course, the people of Ahlul Dua, the people of Ahlul Munajat, those who want to have a private session with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is nothing like Munajat Sha'baniyah. This is the Munajat of A'imma alayhim as-salam in this particular month, and they all have been very closely associated themselves with this Munajat Sha'baniyah. Inshallah, I do not make that a promise, but I've tried to do in the next 4 sessions in Sha'ban, to do a bit of commentary on Munajat Sha'baniyah, so that if we are going to read it in this month, at least once a day, it takes 7 to 10 minutes of the time, depending on how fast or slow you read. And so it's good to understand the meaning. You try to find the meaning of it in the language that you best understand, and I try to make a bit of commentary on, not on all of the Munajat, because all of it is quite a long, for commentary it will take more than 4 sessions, but on that part which is very famous part and very irfani part of the dua. Of course the whole dua is irfani, but this part which is Ilahi habli kamal al-inqita'i ilayk wa anir absar qulubina bi ziya'i nazaraha ilayk hatta takhriq absar al-qulub hujub an-nur fatasila ila ma'din al-azamah wa tasir arwahuna mu'allaqatan bi'izz qudsik. This particular 3-4 sentences have been focused by people like Imam Khomeini rahmatullah alayh as being a very irfani and spiritual. And of course I did not find any tafsir from them. I haven't seen, I just briefly this morning searched on the internet. I couldn't find anything from any of them, but anyway, I have still, what I'm going to say about it is from the likes of Allama Hassan Zadeh, which I use briefly his words. Let's first make an understanding of it. That part, Ilahi habli kamal al-inqita'i ilayk. Do you all know what this Munajat Sha'baniyah is? Have you ever read this before? Okay. This Munajat Sha'baniyah, I mean this part which is towards the end of the dua, Munajat, is not the beginning of it. It says, Ilahi habli kamal al-inqita'i ilayk. Oh Allah, habli. Hab is from the root of the word hebe, means gift and giving away. Habli and hebe usually from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is not against any deservation, anything that we deserve. Hebe is something which Allah Himself only knows the reason why He would give it. And this is also laqab and title of, I think, one of the prophets, maybe Prophet Shays. He was called Hebatullah. That means he was the gift of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Probably too, I think he was the son of Hazrat Adam alayhi salam, if I'm right. So, and then, so this is Hebe. When we say Ilahi, oh Allah, habli, give to me, kamal al-inqita'i ilayk. Kamal al-inqita' means absolute cutting off from anything else towards you. So remember, this in fact must be our try, our effort, especially always, all along in the life, especially in these 2 months when we are heading and we are aiming towards reaching to the ziyafat and party of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Ramadan. We have to be trying towards Kamal al-Inqita. But I remember one sentence only from Imam Khomeini rahmatullah, who says, "Oh Allah, what is this Kamal al-Inqita that you have told and your Ma'sumin say that we do not make any understanding of it. We do not know what it is, Kamal al-Inqita." And then, of course, it's not this statement is not only about this beginning of the verse. The rest of it, كمال الانقطاع إليك وعنر أبصار قلوبنا بالضياء نظرها إليك حتى تخرق أبصار القلوب حجب النور فتصل إلى معدن العظمة. That ittisal, that connection to the معدن العظمة means to the reservoirs of azamat and greatness. Imam Khomeini says we don't know what it is, we just read it and we just see that Imam and Ma'sumin, they were reading it. Kamal al-Inqita is what Inqita means, cutting off. Cutting off from what? When we want to do Inqita towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Cutting off from, you might have heard this, just a word from me before. We have got what is called wahdat and kasrat. Wahdat is when everything is seen in unity. And kasrat, or diversity, is when you see things, the whole creation is kasrat and diversity. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is unity and wahda. So when we say, "Oh Allah, habli kamal al-inqita," inqita and cutting off from signs of kasarat, signs of diversities. So we are asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to gift us inqita towards diversity, cutting off from, inqita from diversities to the unity. What does that mean? Cutting off from diversity. That means when you see anything around you, everything that we see, as you have spoken before, everything we see in the realm of creation, they are the manifestation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we are seeing all the tajalliyat and manifestations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So long as we see, if we see these kasarat and diversities independent, so it's important, cutting off from diversities to the unity, cutting off yourself from what you see and focusing towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But if we see these diversities and these creatures, basically diversity and kasrat are creatures. If we see creatures independent, there is no tabahud. So anyone who see any creature independent, he's definitely mushrik and kafir. That's no doubt. So cutting away from diversity to unity and wahdat is only when you look at the khalq and kasarat, only when you also see Allah behind them. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you see the relationship of khalqat and your relationship of creatures to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you do not see the relationship, this is not among our talk. Our talk does what this cutting away from inqita, from creatures to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is not for those who do not see Allah any way at all. It is only for those who do see Allah behind all the creatures. But yet they want to be cut off from creatures of Allah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Let me give you an example of what does that mean. How can we see Allah behind the creatures? How can we see wahdat, which is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, behind all the creatures? Just see the example of sun and the moon. The moon, had it not been able to get that light from the sun, but moon itself, it doesn't it's nothing almost for us, because the moon for us, from the point of view that we are talking about, the moon only makes sense because we see it with the light it has. If it was not the light that was getting it from sun, it was totally dark and no light, so it would have become nothing. So moon without the sun is a sign of nothingness. It's only when there is a sun which gives its zaw and nur to moon, then you can see the moon. So while you are seeing the moon, basically you are seeing a tajalli of sun in it. Otherwise, moon itself, it doesn't have any independence when it's spoken about the nur of it. Because again, as I said, do not argue that, okay, moon even without the light is something is there. But the moon for us, the people of the earth, the aspect of it that we are talking is about the moon that has got that light and that nur and that which is, we are seeing it every night almost, or the nights that moon is visible. So similarly, the same way that the moon is, when you are looking at it, you are seeing the sun without directly seeing it, but you realize that the sun is giving that nur. So any khalqat and diversity and creature you see, you are seeing it because of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given wujud to it. So one should have that relationship in mind. One must be able to all the time having a regard to this fact that any creature that he is or she is seeing is related to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and does not have any independent existence. No independent existence can be considered for any creation, even the prophets and ma'asumin alayhim as-salam. They are the same thing. In that matter, there is no difference. In the fact that they have no independence, we are all the same. That's why they call all the creatures, even human being, even they are called mahrabtul mahz, or mahzur rabt, means the mere link. The creation is only a mere link to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That means, when they say mere link, that means they have absolutely no independence in themselves. So we are asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, oh Allah, gift us kamal al-inqita, absolute cutting off from the creatures to yourself. Absolute cutting off from the creatures to yourself, as I said, is only when you have regard to any creature having Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as the creator of it. Now in that regard, you are asking Allah, we want to keep away, we want to reach to a status that when we look at a tree, we do not see the tree, we see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are asking Allah that we give us such understanding that when we are looking at other human beings, when we are looking at creations of Allah, when we are looking at the skies, stars and galaxies, all of this, when we look at the sun and the moon, we want to be seeing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and do not see the kasrat. Maybe this is one of the reasons or one of the interpretations and fusi interpretations, tafasir of the issue of Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, when he says about, it says that he saw the moon and then he worshipped the moon and then says la uhibbu inni la uhibbul afilin, because moon set and then there was he couldn't see the moon anymore, and then he said he wouldn't worship something which sets down and goes disappear. So then he started to praise and to worship the sun. So maybe in this matter, and this is referring to he's seeing kasrat, and from kasrat he's referring to wahdat. He was looking at kasrat, and then from there he was going back towards wahdat. And again the issue, remember when we talk about we are asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us that much of cutting away, gift us that much of understanding that we see from behind any creature the existence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. These are among 4 journeys, because there are, as per Mullah Sadra makes 4 journeys for human being. This is journey number 1. Kamal al-Inqita' ilayk is journey number 1, because one is the journey from khalq to haq, from diversity to unity. So the first journey, we want to travel from diversity to unity, from kasrat to wahdat, from khalq to haq. Khalq means creature, khalq means kasrat, khalq means diversity. The second journey is journey from haq to haq, journey from Allah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is when a person journeys among Asma'ullah and sees Asma'ullah. So, first journey from haq to khalq, from creatures to Allah. Second journey from Allah to Allah, from haq to haq. Third journey from haq to khalq, again come back from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to the creatures of Allah. And fourth journey is from khalq to khalq. Safar min al-khalq ila al-haq ila al-khalq ma al-haq. But the fourth journey now is because the person has traveled to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and has seen Asma'ullah. Now when he comes back to the people, to the kasrat, that's the third journey, and then he travels from khalq to khalq, from kasrat to kasrat, but with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now he has got, is ma'al haq, from min al-khalq ila al-khalq ma'al haq, from diversity to diversity with unity. Of course, we may not make a lot of sense from these, but these are the 4 journeys that one is supposed to make to reach to very high levels. So we are asking, O Allah, habli kamal al-inqita' ilayk wa anir absar qulubina bi ziya'i nazarha ilayk. O Allah, anir means make it luminous. Make luminous what? Absar qulubina, the eyes of our heart. Bi ziya'i nazarha ilayk. With the ziya means nur again. But remember the difference between ziya and nur is ziya is a nur which has got inherent nur. But nur is when, for instance, ziya is the nur of sun, but nur is the nur of the light of moon. Because light of moon is not independent, has got it from sun. But the nur of sun is called ziya, and they also call it zaw. Zaw with sad zat. So, we are asking in the dua, anar absar qulubina bi ziya'i nazarha ilayk. Illuminate the eyes of our heart by ziya'i nazarha ilayk, by the nur that we get by looking at you, looking towards you. When we say ilayk, also remember ilayk, whenever it says ilayk in Arabic, it comes from ilay, and that kaf is you. Ilay plus kaf. Ilay is qurb ma'nawi, a spiritual closeness. Whereas, when in Arabic they want to say closeness, but by physical closeness, they use the word an, nun. Like closeness, anil, taqarrub, anil falanja, anil Husseiniya, means closeness from Husseiniya, but that's a physical closeness. But when he says ilal Husseiniya or ilallah or ilal anywhere, that's a spiritual closeness. So here we are asking, anir absar qulubina bi ziya'i nazarha ilayk. Illuminate the eyes of our heart by looking at the nur, bi ziya'i nazarha ilayk, at the nur of looking at you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is a spiritual looking. This is not a physical issue here. So we get prepared for Salat, and we leave the rest, inshallah, as I said. I try to continue next week on the same verse of Munajat Sha'baniyah. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us make understanding of inqita. And inqita comes, inshallah, I try to talk about some practical aspects of what are the things that we should do to work towards achieving and attaining inqita and keeping away from kasarat and creatures and towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Bar Muhammad wa al Muhammad salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa al Muhammad.